Salutations, kindred souls. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Lux Martin Enlightenment. I'm Lux, and this channel is about all things enlightenment, not the kind that floats above life, but the kind that you find right in the middle of it. So today, our episode is going to be about how healing isn't pretty, but it's beautiful. So we're going to start with asking a couple questions. I'm going to answer those, and then we're going to kind of go into 4 main points about why healing is ugly beautiful. So let's start with asking the question, why bother healing? What's the point? Why should I have to? And the absolute truth is, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to heal anything. You can go through your life exactly as you are today for the rest of your life and be perfectly fine. You're not going to be punished for that. There is no detriment to whatever happens with your soul at the end of this life because you decided to remain the exact same you are. And that's okay. And we all have to accept that about each other, that nobody has to heal anything. When you're ready to heal, it's because you've asked yourself about a situation and about the possibility of it feeling different or going different. So, healing is when you decide you're ready to heal, when you ask the question of, how can this feel better? And then the next question about that would be, well, where do I start with healing? There's so many things that happen to me in life. There's so many things that make me angry. There's so many things I'm upset about. Where do I begin? And the nice thing about using this channel to explain that to you is because it really doesn't matter where you start. So as I said in my first episode, where this channel is is a blend of combining, integrating your psychological, mental aspects, your spiritual aspects of yourself, and your human body design, and integrating all of those tools into an approach that gets you the life you want, healing the way you want, feeling the way you want. In my experience, there is no wrong place to start. If you want to start with your relationships, if you want to start with work, if you want to start with abundance, if you want to start with your relationship with God, your higher power, whatever that is, there is no wrong place to start. Pat yourself on the back for freaking starting. So go ahead and start with wherever you want. And then that kind of leads us into the next question of, what is healing? What do I do about it? How do I heal this thing that I want to look at? In my experience, most of the work is done in simply letting yourself observe and completely become aware and understand this thing, this concept, belief, event, topic. I'm not going to say a person, and there's a reason for that. Because it creates a response in you that you no longer see value in. So, for example, when you feel the need in a relationship to tell someone what they need to do because you know what to do, you believe that you're in the right and your way is the right way, but it's causing so much rift in your relationship that you no longer see the value in this approach because it's not getting you the result that you think you should have. So, taking a lot longer to observe, just sit with it. What is this thing I'm upset about? Or if let's say if it is a person, what is it about this person that I'm so upset about? What is the interaction going on that creates this desired effect that I no longer want? So it becomes less about the person. It becomes more about the behavior, the topic, the response, the inherent belief that is coming to the surface over this interaction or this relationship with whoever you have in mind. Healing happens when you take a lot longer than the average person is willing to take to observe what's going on. A perfect example, and a real life example, getting transparent with you. I used to be one of those people that thought my way was the right way, for many reasons. You can blame it on any other thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, the responsibility of that behavior is mine, where especially in work life and in relationships, I thought that I was in the right and I knew the right way that things should go down so that we would all get the best desired effect. And when I was realizing that my strong need and desire to control the situation and control the way I think it should go because I genuinely thought I was in the right was causing so much conflict in relationships and so much tension at work that I had to stop and ask myself, how am I going to continue to behave knowing that I'm struggling to get the desired effect? I'm not getting what I want because people are so against me wanting what I want and me wanting them to do it the way I want that I'm no longer seeing value in this method of behavior or this belief I have. And so I need to ask myself, what is this doing for me? Why am I doing it? If I wanted it to go differently, what might that look like? And then the next most important question is once you've feeled all the feels, okay, you've dove into this situation. This person makes me feel this way because I have a fundamental belief of this, or I act this way in this area of life because I want this and I'm not getting it, and here's why. Feel how that makes you feel. When I stopped and realized how much damage I was doing in the relationships in my life, especially in my close relationships, family, friends, my partner, when I stopped to feel how much harm I was doing to my person, I was being disrespectful, I was being rude, I was belittling his value and self-worth. I stopped and went, holy crap, are you that woman? Is that really you? Like, do you want to be the kind of person that makes those waves in the world? And you have to stop and process that moment of shame or grief or guilt or rage, whatever it is. Healing is feeling, to paraphrase quite perfectly. I had to stop and ask myself, wow, do you really like the fact that you make other people feel smaller than you just so that you can control the situation? And at first, I will admit, I needed to heal things out of a compulsive need to be right or to be better. And so, even though that wasn't the greatest place to start, the point is it was a reason. And then over time, as my journey developed, I started to be very aware of how much better it felt to choose to heal because I no longer see value in the old way, thing, concept, belief, and I voluntarily embrace the new approach because I believe I will feel better in the doing of it, in the new belief of it. So it became less of a compulsive need to fix, and it became a conscious choice to evolve to step into the next best feeling situation. And so that's a huge game changer right there, is when you can learn about yourself, of where your healing is coming from, where your need to heal is coming from. When you can get to a place where you can consciously decide, I am ready to heal or change this because I genuinely believe that I will get a better outcome, and I'm happy about that, and I'm embracing that new way, even if it's going to be rough or uncomfortable. That's power, 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 and great for you. So, moving on to kind of the core points of why healing is not pretty. Um, let's start with the concept of the illusion of healing being this very aesthetic, pleasing experience. Um, we often, especially on the content I watch and the mentors I watch, glossy, curated versions of what healing is, and this is the healed me, and this is the new me. It's great. It's beautiful. And we've all been sold this idea that healing looks like bubble baths and mountain retreats and 2 hours of meditation a day. And those are all very beautiful things. And if you want the bubble baths and if you want the retreats, by golly, you do it. Because if it's doing something for you, it's doing something for you. But we often are painted this picture that healing is this serene process. And in my experience, I won't speak for somebody else, but in my experience, that could not be further from the truth. Healing is not serene, it is not polished, it is not in the bubble baths, it is in the raw, disgusting, authentic moments of you facing yourself. And that is so ugly. And that is so ugly. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we think that because we got our nails done or we got a new skincare routine that I'm healed, I'm healing, I'm doing the things for me. Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. Yes, that is a little bit of healing, but it's so surface level compared to you doing the really dirty work of looking at this thing or this belief that you have that you are so uncomfortable in your skin about that something's got to change. And that is really hard to do, and it's really unpretty. So please, please, please don't let anyone fool you into believing that healing is this beautiful, serene, magical, smooth process. And if that's the way you feel, then you've been very led astray. So I hope that I can steer you back into believing that although healing is very rough and very messy, it is so worth doing. And then we're going to move on to why. So, kind of bled over into my second topic, which is what healing actually is or feels like. Healing is feeling. Healing is feeling grief, resistance, shame, burnout, and then the breakthrough in your processing that. So the beauty of this is that yes, you do have to look at the breakdown or the not so fun part of healing. You do have to look in the mirror and examine to its very depths of this issue that you want to heal. But in that processing, you will feel this shift. There isn't a great way to explain it because it's not always some light bulb moment, but you will feel the shift inside of, ah, that feels just a little bit better, or I think I can do this now. And that breaking through is such a beautiful, relieving part of it, even when you're in the thick of it, even when you know it's not over yet and you're not there yet. It's the hope you need to get to the other side of this thing. So let yourself feel like healing is breaking down, like you're breaking apart, even if it's just one topic at a time. Because I don't recommend doing it like I did with some things where I've let my life fall apart and blow up on several occasions. Maybe that's just the way my soul designed this when I came down here. But my life has had a bunch of turned upside down, blow it up moments. And part of what I feel makes me a really powerful alchemist and healer is the willingness to look at that disgusting pile of the shambles of my life and go, wow, look at all of this stuff you learned about you and look at all of this room for expansion. What are you going to do with it? So don't recommend it. It's a bumpy ride. But if you want to take this one thing and let it fall apart, let the relationship fall apart, let your work life fall apart, let your finances fall apart, let it blow up and look horrendous. And then in the picking up the pieces, you will find the beauty beneath the mess. Which leads into my third point, which is let the chapter of that concept that you're healing, let it be a beautiful mess because that gets to stay in its own chapter and then you can move on to the next chapter. And it's not about how it looks, it's about how you stayed in the process and surrender to this thing of this is what healing looks like. This is so uncomfortable. I do not know how I can take another step sometimes, but I am willing to. And there is something so profound in the sacredness of what you are doing. Because even if it's just on one topic, like the way you treat others in relationships or the way you receive abundance in your life, you are doing something sacred for yourself, for your lineage, for your future generations. You're changing the game, and that is no small thing. So let it be what it is, because someday someone is going to want to hear your story of how you made it through that beautiful mess, and you're going to witness to others of how they could heal that very same thing that you already walked through the fire about. So appreciate yourself, be proud of yourself, let yourself feel beautiful in this hot mess express of the situation that you're diving into, because it's not about how it looks in that moment. That is one thing I will close that point on is you will feel a lot of shame for how something looks. I have gone through several things in my life that I've worked on healing where I felt so much shame for the way my life looked on the outside, especially to my loved ones, to the people that cared about me, that I started isolating myself because I was so embarrassed at what my life had become as the result of exposing this thing that I was looking at, that I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. I felt like I couldn't go out in the world and be myself. I couldn't move through some aspects of my life. And I had to either process it quietly or I had to accept that at some point someone was going to see my hot mess. They probably could and would judge me about it or for sure have an opinion of, well, you, Lux, you probably need to do something about this, like this. So I had to accept that that was coming, but that it wasn't going to change the trajectory of my end result of what I wanted to feel like on the other side. So let yourself be messy, let yourself be beautiful, and don't forget to continue to move through the shame, because that's one of the most important processes of getting to the other side. And finally, the last thing I'm going to touch on in wrapping up this whole process, which creates this overarching theme of, yes, the journey is beautiful, the healing journey is beautiful. Embrace the process, is what I'm trying to say. That chapter may be incredibly messy, it may be incredibly dark, but your overall story can be amazing, can be majestic, beautiful. It can be a comeback story, it can be a victory story, it can be a healing journey, it can be a straight up adventure. So embrace the process, knowing that this chapter looks super duper ugly and it's raw and it's uncomfortable, but your overarching story, the life that is you and the person you are getting from A to B to D to W to Z, is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's phenomenal. And you came down here to earth to do just that. So way to frickin' go, you, because you're doing it. You're doing it. And you didn't have to, is the thing. You came down here under the game rules that you're going to forget why you're here. And in that discovery of, wow, this is really uncomfortable, what am I going to do about it? You start to remember why you're here, which is to heal and grow and evolve and experience all the things that a human body gets to experience, and make changes. And changes, you make changes in the whole universe. And it's kind of woo woo and wild and trippy to think about, but I genuinely believe that that's how it works. So just to wrap up everything, we talked about why bother healing, what is healing, what is it doing for me, why should I do it, where do I start, and going over this step-by-step process of healing doesn't look like this. It doesn't look pretty or smooth. It doesn't look like surface level care. It's deep, it's raw, it's really uncomfortable, and healing is feeling. I probably cannot say that enough. Healing is feeling it, observing it, and then deciding what you want to do about it. And if you can and will do something about it. And then embracing yourself in the process, giving yourself some grace, some space, some forgiveness for everything that's gone on, the way it played out. Let it be. Let it be the chapter. Let yourself morph through the next chapter into the new you and what it's going to be. And then love yourself, be proud of yourself, and shine for the process that you went through to get to the other side of healing that thing. So thanks again for tuning in. I hope that you'll continue to go on this journey with me. Like, subscribe, continue to watch me develop this channel, and support and enjoy this integrated life with me. Again, I'm Lux, and keep seeking, keep softening, keep showing up, and remember that the light you're looking for may just be the light you already are. Take care.